Hello everyone! It is I, Ryan, also known as thelovebat, and I welcome everyone once again to my Let's Playing domain. And we're continuing along with my playthrough of Blood Bowl 2 with my Lizardman team, the Sea of Red. So last time we went up against what I thought would be a tough matchup with a High Elf team in the Blood Bowl Qualifiers. And we actually took care of them pretty well. We were able to foil their dodging attempts every now and again. They didn't get very many knockdowns on our players. And they only injured one of our players, and it wasn't really a major injury, so far, it's been a long time since we actually lost a player due to injury. Excuse me. Unfortunately, my voice occasionally now and again is dealing with that sore throat injury of my own, but you know, it's something I talked about in the last episode that I recorded, is that I'm still getting over that sore throat from a week or two ago, so it's, you know, I'm still kind of dealing with the residual effects of it, so my throat can still occasionally be dry. I might occasionally have a cough now and again, like a or a something like that. So overall, though, I'm still doing okay. I'm just drinking water and a little bit of vegetable juice, eating apples, and hopefully I'm going to get some orange juice soon to go ahead and help the throat out a little bit there. But vitamin C aside, we're going to go ahead and be facing a Dwarf team, which will be the first time in a while that we've faced a Dwarf team. I don't know if we've actually faced one yet with this team, our Lizardman team anyway. And so, not a Lizardman team, a Dwarven team, as I got so mistakenly tongue-twisted there. They have lots of thick skull, lots of high armor value players, and many of them have block and tackle. So, at least in this case, all but one, I think, have, well, block. They all have block, most of them have tackle. So tackle is going to be a problem for our Skink players, but our Lizardman players, on the other hand, aren't going to have to worry about that. They have a couple of runners with passing skills. I'm not really too concerned about their ability to throw the ball because, well, their ability to catch the ball is a bit iffy for a lot of their players. But the one thing that concerns me here is that they have lots of block, lots of guard, and then they have some tackle to deal with our Skink players. So I think overall that, excuse me, more coughing. I try and tilt my face to the side and cover it with my mouth so that way it doesn't blow into the microphone and hurt the earphone users too much. But basically, they match up fairly well on the surface anyway. They can make advantageous blitzes, and if they can swarm my Skink players and get them injured, then things could be iffy. They have a couple of players of Mighty Blow here, so they could potentially get some key injuries here, so oh, excuse me. So overall, considering that they have some Mighty Blow and we only have one player with Mighty Blow, they might cause more injuries to us in this game, because while we have good armor value on our frontliners, we don't have thick skull, and we only have one player with Mighty Blow as of now. So they have far more skills on their frontline players, and dodging with our Skinks is not going to be as effective in this game with all of their players that have tackle. One thing that we do have, however, is sidestep, so if we can get into a good position after they try and block them, then, you know, we might still be able to swarm one or two of their dwarfs, make blocks of our Skinks, and then try and pick up the ball and go to like the corner of the game field and try and sort of stall things out a little bit if we need to, because the dwarves, they aren't able to move very fast. So that's the one big advantage that we do have on them, is that they are fairly slow. Their runners are the only ones that can keep up with any of our players, and even then they're not terribly fast. And so we're going to be able to outmaneuver them pretty well with our Skinks. They cannot keep up with them, even if they try and use going for it. So That's going to be how we have to leverage our team against them, is the mobility and swarming them in certain areas and not allowing them to really do all that much, I hope. So another good thing is that if we end up suffering any injuries, we do have substitute players that can substitute in for them. So while the dwarves, meanwhile, if we KO them or injure them, then they're not going to really have any substitute players to come in for them. So we could have a player advantage if we get them injured. That remains to be seen, because they have thick skull and lots of 9 armor values. So but yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping that it goes well. Like I said, I don't remember if I've played against another dwarf team. We've played against some undead teams. We've played against some Norse teams. A couple of elf teams, an Amazon team, I think, at some point. And there we are, the glorious Sea of Red. And our players in all of their glory, all of their hunking Lizardman glory. All the spiked armor, the red and gold, and the wonderful, wonderful face paint. Then the dwarves, meanwhile, they have the glorious beards, the glorious mohawks, the wondrous ale, well-armored shoulders, and helmets. So we each have our own styles, as it were, and they are having a star player on their team, maybe even 2 of them. They have lots of petty cash. So it looks like they have 2 star players. One of them is the bomb throwing dude, which we should be able to deal with him pretty easily, I bet. So, and of course they win the coin toss as usual. This time the Master Chef comes through for them and gets a little bit of an edge, but we still have plenty of rerolls, so I'm not really too concerned about the Halfling Master Chef. That's why we bought these. So that way we force them to use inducements on something to try and gain an advantage. What does this guy do? Alright, strong arm, so he could be a good thrower. Strong arm, pass, Hail Mary pass. Thick skull and sure hands. So he's a secret weapon player, which means he's only going to be in here in the first half. Same with this guy, I think. So he's a good thrower, and he has thick skull, so he's going to be hard to get injured and taken out of the game. Remains to be seen if they'll actually be able to make a passing play with him, though, so I'm not too worried about a dwarf that's focused on throwing the ball with a team that isn't really known for throwing. For defense, I don't know why it's like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and set people up on the front line here, because I want to try and encourage them to try and make blocks here. And then if they aren't able to knock them down, then obviously I can go ahead and return blocks on the next turn without having to use a blitz action for that. And we'll save this setup as defensive. No. Jeez. Alright, so I'm trying to go ahead and save this as defensive setup 1. Because the previous defensive setup 1 is pretty poorly done, and I guess I just didn't bother changing it over my many matches here. Yeah, so the movement players and the throwing player we don't want in on defense. We want them more in on offense, so we don't get them injured on defense. Oh, excuse me again. So we want them on the edge, that's fine. Yeah, so I think this is going to be good. Not exactly great, but good. It's fine. See, I'm totally cool with putting my Lizardman up in the front because they're only going to be able to blitz once. And they need 2 assists to get a 2-die block on a Saurus. And we get a free blitz. And the ball is going right there, so we have our 3-strength Skink here. Might want to go after that guard player first. Let's go ahead and get you giving an assist on this guy on the edge. Not really worried about their secret weapons right now, I don't think. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get you right there. And then let's go ahead and get you... we can have you towards the sideline, and that should be okay. And then we're going to go ahead and blitz in with you and see if we can get this dude on the ground. Excellent. Mazda of Itza, once again, you amaze me. And let's follow that up. And let's see if you can go ahead and catch it. Alright, so he doesn't catch it, but it lands in a pretty good spot, and it's not a touchback, which is very good. And he can get surfed pretty easily over there. Granted, the blitzer that they have there isn't really one of their better players, but, you know, that's fine. Alright, so they don't get an injury, but, you know, that's a good thing that their star player didn't really accomplish much. Alright, so Carnage of Dawn is dead. Do we use an Apothecary on him? He's not valuable enough, I think, to use an Apothecary on. So, unfortunately, Carnage of Dawn, you are... we appreciate your sacrifice. We appreciate what you've done for the team. Unfortunately, there are more valuable players that we're going to need to keep in mind for... I mean, it sucks losing any player, especially in the first turn of a match. And I would like to use the Apothecary on them if I could, but I have so many Skink on the bench here that can fill in that, I mean, it wasn't one of our more valuable players to use it on. So, unfortunately, that's Blood Bowl. Jeez. There are far worse players to lose, I think, is what I'm trying to say. So, of all the players to lose, that was actually the least valuable one in terms of star player points. So we can generally, we're probably not going to replace them. We might get another Skink, though, if we have to replace, like, Swatter or someone inflating the team value. So their first turn was mostly successful. We can still surf them pretty well. And then free up Chaqkoet to try and pick up the ball, perhaps. Yep, they have a lot of guard in here, so that's a consideration. Lots of guard, lots of block, so... I mean, I think we still want to try and surf this guy first and get him out of the way and out of the match. Okay, that went pretty well. We're just going to stay there next to the ball in case anything happens. Not likely we're going to get an injury, but it's worth trying. And then we free up this guy to try and pick up the ball here. And then we can blitz in with him. Preferably be a block player, but this is probably the best we're going to be able to do is what's right here. So I think we're going to have to just do that and get him away from the ball. Push is fine. And then let's get him away from the skink. And I think it's worth it to go ahead and follow up on the block. And just have him next to the ball here. Alright, so let's try and get some of the guard players on the ground here. So you have blocks, so this is a pretty safe block here with a reroll. And we get him on the ground. Let's keep him next to the Kroxigor here. So now you're on the ground. You have block. You don't have a really good block with you just yet. It's a bit of a risky block to try and get the guard player on the ground right here. You, however, could try going for the splitzer first, so let's try and get him on the ground. Maybe we can surf him next turn. And now I'm just going to go ahead and try and pick up the ball first and see what happens. Okay. And we're going to try and run out of here because they're not going to be able to dodge out very well. Their players, I mean, aren't going to be able to dodge out very well, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Let's try and just block somebody here. Okay. Let's just stay there. Try and get in some kind of block here. Oh, it's a 3-die. We moved one of the assists away, so that worked out pretty well. Follow up, get him in the middle of here. And I think that's pretty successful. Yeah, so I moved my skink out of here because they're not going to have an easy time dodging out. They could push this skink away, then free up someone for a blitz, but I'm just going to have to hope that maybe Zlat on the moon can do something here. Oh, and they were trying to throw a bomb somewhere, I think. Sidestepping towards the ball. He's KO'd. Oh. Gonna have a hard time getting him leveled up again unless we get him in the second half, or we score quickly here. Scoring quickly for us would actually be a good thing, so we can try and get some of our players back and get some of our substitutes in. Okay, so it's gonna be a neutral block. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so let's stand you up. And we'll also stand you up as well. So we still, I believe we still can score a touchdown with Chaqkoet because they didn't have the movement to get up here and try and deal with the ball because they're a Dwarf team. And because they have lots of guard players, it's going to be hard to get any blocks off on them. Let's see, are there any good blocks around here? Well, we can make a block there. And we can free up him to maybe move around and help out somewhere and maybe make a blitz. Because he doesn't have block, we don't want him to block first here. Let's try and get rid of this guard player first. I have blocks, so at the very least not likely to fail and double skull it. Oh, we have to... Let's move him over this direction and keep him away from the ball. We're going to go ahead and stay... I think we might as well stay here. Have a bit of coverage on the outer edge. We free him up to possibly blitz somebody. A lot of these players have block. He doesn't have block, so let's go ahead and do this block then first and see if we can serve him out of bounds. Let's just push him out. And we'll stay there. No reason to go to the sideline here. So we've got a couple of dwarves taken out of the match right now, which is good. I think we served a couple of them. He doesn't have block. I mean, let's try this. See if we can do something at least with some kind of blitz. Alright. 2 dice is still good even without block. Let's push him this direction here. Follow up on it. And then we can move over here to have an assist on him and away from the guard player. Okay, and don't know if I want to take that. Let's at least move him up towards the ball here. So that way we have someone on the ball in case we fumble a pickup attempt. Longbeard with block and tackle. He has block too. Let's try and get the star player out anyway. We're a bashing team. We gotta try and do some of this. And let's go ahead and stay here so we have both of these dwarves tied up pretty well. Most of these guys have block. He doesn't have block. I'll do that block last. And let's try and pick this up. Yeah, I'm just going to stall for a turn or two here so I can get some blocks in while they're shorter on players. And they don't have the movement to try and go after my skinks, so stalling the game out to try and get their players out and get some injuries is probably a good idea here. Especially against dwarves that only have 11 players, so I'm totally fine with that. Okay, so they get the reroll, and they manage to get the 2 die uphill. That's unfortunate. So we lose a bit of our player advantage there, but we're still doing all right in terms of that. We can free up our guard player and get a 3 die block on one of these guys. I think we go and try and do that. Again, we want to just keep him next to the Kroxigor and stay there for the assisting. And we want to try, and I'm going to do it manually here because I hate fumbling up with these kinds of things, like in my last match. So I'm going to make sure I get the movement just right instead of accidentally trying to dodge through a tackle zone with these guys. And then, still only a 2 die. Well, it might have to do though. Plus, if we follow this up, we could get a 3-die on him. So let's go ahead and try this. Our ball carrier is still pretty safe, so I'm not worried. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and we can move our Kroxigor over a little bit and follow it up. And then let's go ahead and just move you over here. We have any real blocks right here? We have one. It's not with block. We don't have block on any of these guys right here. Might be more valuable to try and injure the players that aren't the star players, so that way we have a chance of having a better advantage in the second half of the match here. Move him that way so we can potentially surf him off the sideline. And we get a KO! Yeah! Against dwarves, no less. We got a KO. That's nice. Unexpected, but very welcome. And so now we're going to try and block this guy and get him closer to the sideline. A push is good enough. And we're going to follow this one. So that way next turn we can possibly follow that up a little bit more. And we have a 2-die on any of these guys. It might be a good idea to try and get rid of a guard player here. Let's try and get rid of their Troll Slayer that has guard. See if we can do this. We're going to have you stay there so that way you're still covering 4 different guys. And then you are going to go ahead and throw a pass from a safe position to try and farm some star player points here. We have plenty of rerolls, so let's just try and use one here. This is a safe spot, so I'm fine doing that just to get some extra star player points on my guys here, especially since we just lost the Skink. So unfortunately, our wonderful Carnage of Dawn is not going to be wreaking any more carnage on the other teams, so we're going to have to play on in his memory and try and get our Skinks kind of nice and leveled up to try and make up for it. And they fudge that block, and they fudge it again. Alright, so we're probably just going to keep on stalling out here and just getting more blocks on these guys because they're not doing a great job against us. And we might even just blitz with you against one of these guys if we can free up our guard player again. Let's try and surf out this dwarf and get him off to the sideline. Excellent. And we're just going to stay there. So we've gotten a lot of their dwarves out of this, off the playing field here, which is quite nice. I think going for a Troll Slayer and then trying to free up enough guys and assists to get a block on him would be quite great. So let's go for this guy first. Alright, so neutral block. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go just for the 2-die block right here, right now. That's okay, I guess. let's go ahead and follow that up. Let's go after this guy since he's got a lot of skills. He has guard, mighty blow, block, tackle. Let's blitz and see if we can get him on the ground. We're gonna go ahead and follow it up so we have someone that can... We still have plenty of guys around the dwarves here. Might just leave him there since he doesn't have block. We'll see if we can knock this guy down. Hopefully we won't fumble it. Nice, so getting him closer to the Carnage in the middle. And now we're at a point where I'm just going to go and try this then, I guess. Alright. So that works quite well. Let's follow it up. So we have another assist. And an injury! Yeah! Alright, so we got a badly hurt. We got more dwarves out of the match. Now again, I don't root for people to get injured or anything like that, but in terms of Blood Bowl, that's just the name of the game and you kind of expect it. So one of our guys died. It's a part of the game, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, so... They don't have blocks, so at the very least, if we get both down, we can still knock him down and maybe get an injury on him, so... Let's go ahead and try and block this guy. I'm okay just doing this and see if we get an injury. Our skinks are still safe up here. They have no way of getting up to them, so I'm okay just doing that. The only bad thing that happens is that guy gets freed up, so he can wander on off here. With Loner, I wasn't really going to be able to reroll that anyway, so I didn't try because it would have been a bit more difficult to try and attempt that. Reasonable blitz there because they had to stand him up to be able to blitz, and so... Or they had to use the blitz to be able to go ahead and walk with him while trying to also stand up. Alright, so we're able to stand him back up. So I could blitz right there, or I could blitz right there as well. I might just blitz right here and then try and make a block with him, maybe. So now I have another guy tying up their star player right there. I'm going to go ahead and stay, I think. So this way we have an assist right there. And the guard player... I think we just might as well get him right in here. So we have these two players kind of covered up with the guard player. Then we can make some blocks right here. And then maybe we can go ahead and get an assist right here as well. And someone that's kind of in the way of everything. So our ball carriers up there, they're still nice and safe and sound here, so I'm fine just bashing here, trying to get these guys some opportunities for star player points at least, so... So we're bashing and crashing here, which is good. Not really getting any armor breaks yet, so that's unfortunate, but we've gotten one injury and one KO so far. We're going to re-roll that one. And the push is fine. We're going to stay on this one, so that way we have another player up here that can make a block instead of the Kroxigor. And we can get a 2-die block on either of these guys, but they both have block. Let's try doing it on this guy. Let's go ahead and follow that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another case of throwing a pass here to try and farm some star player points from a safe spot. I think right here is probably fine. We don't have the reroll for this, so... But I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to at least pick the ball back up here. So I think it's only a 3+ for picking it up, so... And they get an armor break because they were very incompetent throwing their bomb there, so... And they get the 1-die block that works, so that's unfortunate, again. So they get a couple of stuns, but... Again, they're not really making any progress on the ball carrier, so it's still mission accomplished for us so far. Let's get a 2-die block with block here. See what we can do. Keep him next to all of our guys over here. We really need to take care of this dude and see if we can get him on the ground, so I'm going to do this first. And I'm just going to go ahead and stay there for now. Alright, so he doesn't have blocks, so I'm not going to really attempt that right now. And then I think I want you to score a touchdown if we have anyone do it, so let's go ahead and get you like right here, I guess. I think it's probably not very prudent to try and attempt any more passes with so few turns left, so let's just try and do the pickup here. And it's worth using the reroll on. Plus, we have 3 rerolls left anyway, so it's something we might as well do. Alright, so it's a turnover, but we have the ball, so that's the important part. Bomb throwing guy is on the ground, not going to be able to do anything this turn, so... At least I don't think so. Alright, so the Troll Slayer just gets a push. He has Frenzy, so... Does get a knockdown, but... We can basically score next turn, so... I'm not too worried here. And they get a 2-die against, and they somehow get it, so... They get it, I don't. I do the risky blocks, they fail. They do them, and they succeed. What else is new, so... Might as well do all this song and dance. Guard against 3 guys is certainly interesting here. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to maybe blitz with him on their Longbeard and then use this guy to make a block on him. See if we can try and get any final knockdowns here before we just go in and score. I'm fine with just push here, not going to risk anything. And let's go ahead and stay here. And then let's try one final block on him. And I'm fine just doing the neutral block here. And then we go ahead and get Chaqkoet leveled up here. So dwarves aren't really going to be able to do a one-turn score, and their secret weapons are going to be thrown off the field here, so I'm totally fine with that turn of events, despite the fact that a skink died. Thankfully, it was an acceptable loss, and they will live on in our memories, our hearts, and in the rosters for these older matches. But you know, the nature of Blood Bowl sometimes dictates that some players are going to be out for the counts. So okay then, so we're going to have to go and change our defensive setup here because of the fact that, well, one of our skinks has died, so we have to permanently change our setup a little bit here. So I guess of all the skinks for them to blitz, well, I guess since they're going to try and attack us, it might be prudent to have them away from the line this time around, and then have you in the middle because lots of their players have blocks, so let's get some of you guys back. You can come up and provide some assists. In fact, maybe we'll just have you guys up here just a little bit more. So they're far back enough to where the dwarves aren't going to really be able to blitz them at all. But they're close enough to where they can provide an assist for my guys on the final turn here. I'm pretty certain that we're not going to be able to score here in one turn to get the ball somehow and do all that, so but yeah, my sources are up there so that way I can go ahead and hopefully get some blocks in here. And the extra team reroll doesn't really help at all, so that's unfortunate. But it's still been a pretty successful, you know, deal here, so them having the ball on a touchback is kind of irrelevant here because they're not going to be able to do anything with it, so aside from farm star player points or something. But the AI usually isn't smart enough to try and farm star player points when they don't have a chance to score. Alright, so we have an injury here. Hopefully it's not a bad one. I'm just gonna have to go and deal with that. Badly hurt. That's acceptable. Not great, but one of our block players getting injured is definitely not ideal, but as long as no one has a debilitating injury, then I'm probably gonna be able to deal with it for this match at least, so. Well, and they're getting these two die against, and like, I don't get them for me. My risky blocks hardly work out, but theirs, they're getting them. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to bring up some Skinks here that can provide an assist for one of my Sauruses here to do a blitz. Both of my guard players are still providing a good deal of stuff here as far as assisting goes. I guess the problem is that he has tackle but not block, so that's going to be an issue. Actually, you can go over here maybe. Provide maybe an assist on this blitzer right there. I don't know if it's going to be enough though. See, 1 assist for me, 2 assists for them. I think it'd be only a 1-die block, but it might be enough to try, I guess. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, let's at least get you over here and try and give an assist. Maybe that's the last block that we can do just to try and get them on the ground. Maybe we'll get lucky. Or unlucky. That's also possible. He doesn't have guard, but that might not be too relevant here. Let's get all of you guys up here. Maybe we can block one of these guys right here, and then I can tie up this player that doesn't have guard, so the assisting is easier. Let's go and block him first and see how this goes. Not good, apparently, but good enough, I think. And then this should be a 3-die blitz. Yep, so we're going to go and take this one with our reroll here. This is going to have to do. Let's see if we can get him on the ground. We're just going to go and stay here. I could have moved him in closer to try and foul this guy, but I'm not going to foul with a Saurus. I might foul with a Skink, but I would never foul with a Saurus and have them thrown out of the match. I guess if I'm going to do a reroll, I'd rather do it on a Saurus than a Kroxigor, so let's just do this. Alright, I'm cool with this. Might as well go ahead and do that. Do a bit of this, do a bit of that. Yep, so let's go ahead and at least try this. May not work, but might as well at least try it. As predicted, it didn't work, but at least we didn't suffer any more bad news here, so. And what's this nice Blood Bowl weather? What's going on over here? Oh, these are the guys that got kicked out. There's the injury. Alright, so they're down to 10 players. We're going to be substituting in some guys, depending if we get a KO back. But, yeah, we have the player advantage right now. We have a Saurus that's down, but, you know, I'm okay. It's an acceptable loss to have one player that's injured, but not debilitating, so. The bad part about it was just the fact that the Saurus that I lost had block, and I'd rather lose one of the other Sauruses, like the tackle one or the one without any skills. So they have a reroll advantage, but we have the player advantage, and we have offense. So, and we have our offense Skink players in here that are going to be able to do some stuff. So. The best way to protect my Skink, at least the 3 strength one, is just maybe get him in the middle here, and I can just make a block on him, maybe. on their runner. Because of 2 guard players, my 3 strength skink, due to the fact that, you know, we have to... It would be nice to have a Saurus out here on the edge. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I can still protect him. I have 2 guard players that are right next to him, so... For this particular play, just because we're short on Sauruses, and I definitely want Sauruses here on the outside the block, I'm just going to have to go and do this. One of our catching skinks is going to need to be up there. I'm going to put you on the outside once again. Because, I mean, the 3-strength skink is still going to get a 2-die block on this guy. I don't know if we can get a 3-die block with one of our Sauruses. We would need 3 assists, and we only have 2 right now. And none of these Sauruses have block, so this probably makes the most sense, because he's going to get a 2-die block anyway on this guy. So that's, in my opinion, the best way to do it. Oh, come on. Okay, well, Oh, what was this? What was this roll right here? Was it... Well, I guess it was rolling to see which players got hurt, and on a roll of 6, your players got stunned. So they failed some of their rolls, which is pretty handy, actually. Now we can just free up Mazda of Itza here to move somewhere else. So I want to move the ball over in this direction. I mean, the left side is open, but I have more skink players on this side, on this particular side, so I'd rather move to this direction. Now let's just move you across the field here, behind the line. Let's make a block on him. We're going to start off with this one, I think. Well, actually, let's move you first. Let's get an assist on him. And then we'll leave you in a safe spot for now. And then we're going to see if we can get a guard player over here and free him up and then see what we can do. Alright, so a push is good enough here. Let's follow it up so we have the dwarves all tied up here. Now you can then move right here. And then you can move right here, I think. And then we have a 3-die block right here. We don't have block on our own guy, but 3 dice with a reroll I'm hoping is good enough here, so... let's push him off in this direction. And follow it up. Not likely to get armor breaks here, but, you know, it's just... Playing against dwarves, it's going to be like that sometimes. He has a 9 armor value, so I'm going to take out the guy that's more valuable with guard, I think. So, let's go after him. Let's just move him away from the ball here as much as we can. And let's follow this one up so we can keep him tied up, hopefully. And then a 3-die block here I think is also going to be good enough. Hopefully we can get an injury here. And I think we'll also follow this one up. So that way we can maybe get a block next turn. And then I'm going to move him up, I think over here. And then we're still relatively safe if we fumble this pickup attempt. And we have a reroll here if we need to use it. And then I'm going to attempt a pass right here. Alright, so diving catch ended up working, so that was a very good use of the skill there, so it allowed him a chance to catch a pass there. At least I saw a diving catch show up there, so made it much easier for him to catch it. 2+ catch attempt with the reroll. And they go for it and they don't get it. Alright, they barely got it that time. But our guard player should still make it reasonably difficult for them to try and do this, so... They have players tied up over here, they have stunned guys in the middle, so... That's why I wanted to go this direction, where I can have my sources kind of build a line for the skink here. Yeah, that's 2-die against because they have guard players there. You, on the other hand, can go ahead and make this very tough on them by getting in the middle of this pack here. Guard on 3 of their guys. Is going to be very hard on them. And then tackle player, what are we going to do with you? They have lots of guard players here. I can do a 2-die there. I can also potentially do a blitz on him. Most of their guys had blocked those, so it's going to be hard to really get a good one in here. Let's just get our thrower up here to provide an assist. Maybe with enough assisting, and I can get a 3-die block on him pretty safely. So we'll have him kind of getting in the way of some of these other dwarves up there. And now you have a 3-die block here if we want it. And then I can move through my tackle Saurus there to provide some extra protection here. So I'm not going to use a reroll if I don't really have to. I'm just going to save them as much as I can for when I truly need them. And then we can do a 3-die blitz here. I'm okay with doing that. We'll try again, see if we can get them on the ground. And then we want to keep them tied up in the mess going on over here. And we'll stay here. And only a stun, but that's okay. Against dwarves, you have to take what you can get. We can have him free, so that way next turn we can freely move him. Let's see, that's a 1-die block. How far can we move our ball carrier here? Yeah. It might be preferable to maybe try handing it off here. What's the difficulty for a handoff right here? 3+ catch with a catch reroll. Let's at least try it. Okay, well, That didn't go very well, but you know what? I have all my pieces are still in a pretty good spot right here, so I'm okay. Okay, now they're gonna get a 2-die block on my skink down there if they want it. I was trying to do the handoff here so I could make a break down there where they're not going to be able to have any chance of being able to catch them. The handoff is the only way to do that. And we have another injury. Alright, so badly hurt. I'm just going to have to deal with that. I want to keep my apothecary around for the nasty injuries. I would have used it on the other skink if it were more towards the end of the match to prevent him from being killed, but it was too early in the match to really use it, so... Alrighty then, so our Saurus is still kind of holding them all up over there. He can hold up like 3 of those guys and still be pretty effective, so... They need like 3 assists or more to be able to get a 1-die block on him, so... The main problem here is that it's right next to the sideline now, the ball is, so... So yeah, depending on where the ball lands, if it goes out of bounds, that could be pretty bad, but our skink are going to be more mobile than the dwarves, so... he's in a bit of a bad spot, but... Let's at least get someone over there to help him. You have guard. This guy doesn't have guard, so I can blitz from right here. Yeah, this might be the best thing to do. It's probably the best kind of block I'm going to get right now, so let's just try and push him at least. Okay, well, we get a knockdown, which is even better. And we're going to go and stay... Yeah, let's just go and stay here. We have an assist to help out on this guy right here as well, so... And then I think we're going to go ahead and stand here with our guard player. So all of these guys, I'm hoping we're going to be able to get some blocks in right there. We also have a 2-die block here with our skink. Maybe picking it up with the passing player would be better right here. We're going to get 1 skink down here, I think, to do this. There's 1 skink over here in case we fumble the pickup, I guess. And then we're going to go and try and pick this up first and save our team reroll for this one if we need it. Okay. I don't think I want to throw the ball. Well, we have a team reroll though, or the pass reroll for this, so maybe we can just use a team reroll for going for it. What's the pass like right here? Quick pass. Yep, let's just go ahead and try this. We have rerolls for this. Alright, good. I just want to get him out of range of lots of these dudes. Let's just do a 2-die block right here. Push is fine. We get him further away. let's go ahead and... Does this guy have guard right there? He doesn't. So let's go and follow. I think he'll be okay there because this player doesn't have guard to get an assist on Mazda of Itza. So this is like a one-die block right here with their runner. And he's not going to be able to dodge out so easily. Alright, but he got the dodge. And going for it. And he has block. But we get a very advantageous drop of the ball there. So they still only have one guy down there and he's all by his lonesome. So I'd say we're still in a pretty good spot here. Yeah, I was hoping with him having to dodge out and make a going for it that maybe he'd fail one of those things, but... Alright, so at least he didn't get injured there, which is a good thing. It was only a one-die block, so I was hoping that they would fail that. But... Okay, so let's get our guard player back up here. Stand you back up. Get you right next to this runner and see if we can get him on the ground here. Let's see if we can at least push this guy out of the way to free up one of our skinks. I'm going to keep him tied up as much as possible here. And now you can go ahead and make a 2-die blitz on him, I think. Yeah, so we're going to at least try and push him out of the way here, and if nothing else, we get another block in with this skink down here. I definitely want to re-roll this one. He doesn't have blocks, so... And we're going to push him over towards the sideline, and we'll keep the Mazda Visa there next to the wall. Okay, so let's go ahead and get you standing up. And we're going to kind of cover this area here with players. You have block. I used my team reroll already, so any extra block here is a bit risky, so let's go ahead and do this first. And for the star player points, let's do another passing attempt here. We need the star player points on our good players, so let's try it. And you have the built-in rerolls, it gives you a reasonable chance of success, I'd say. So it's worth trying. Okay, well that did not go very well. Yeah, so double skulls, it happens sometimes. Thankfully, this is just a long beard, so they're not going to be able to get very far to do anything, so... And then this guy, he's not going to be able to stand up, run around, and dodge everywhere, so this is the most he can do. They're doing so many 2-die uphills and they're not getting punished for it. That's just... Oh, that's just the shits, isn't it? They're alright, now they get punished for it. So they're at least forced to use their reroll on that one. I mean, it'd be nice. You know, it's like a game where it's like, you can't do it, but they can do it all the time. That's not fair. You know, it's... I mean, obviously this is just a game, and you know, that's what happens when you have RNG sometimes and random dice rolls, so... in Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop games, that can certainly happen too, and any RPG has some random element of chance of like each attack and actions and spells and whatever, so they'll have a 2-die block there, but my guy has block, so he has some defense against that. He has block, he has guard. So let's just, we're going to leave you on the ground, not going to worry about it. And we're just going to try bashing a little bit more, I think. No, actually, if we're going to go ahead and try and block him, let's just stand this person up here. And then move you along over here. And you're a Longbeard who can't actually get all the way over there. You might be able to get over there, but at the very least, let's try and see if we can blitz this guy and see if we can get some injuries going here. We have to try and get some star player points going around here. If nothing else, maybe we can surf him at some point if we don't score here right away. We have block on this player, so feeling okay about this one. Let's keep following up. Do I want to keep walking here? I mean, I have a reroll if I need it. This is maybe a bit more safe because he can follow this up and tie up some more players at least, so. And then let's just make a series of blocks here, see if we can try and get some injuries going. Let the injuries flow! And now this block is a bit less risky now that I have at least the player tying it up if I failed it, so. We're just going to go ahead and I guess we might as well follow that up. And then let's go and make a block right here. Again, try and get an injury. No injury, but you know what? This is okay. And then, what do we want to do? I mean, I could try and stall it out, but this guy is kind of tied up right now. So it might be a good idea just to go ahead and score now, I think. So we ensure that we get the win. There's no way they're going to be able to score twice in this many turns as dwarves. So if they were an elf team, then maybe they could, but I think for the most part I'm pretty satisfied with that. Losing a player to death sucks, but you know, it was the least valuable player to lose. I hate to say it like that because it seems like I don't value all of my players equally, but I mean, I would have loved to still have him, and in retrospect, obviously, hindsight, you know, you would have used the Apothecary if you knew that no one else is going to get a serious injury, but you know, it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, you don't have the power of hindsight when doing all that, so But we still have a full team, I think. 4, 6... No, I guess we only have 10 players, but that's okay. Let's get you in on the edge of the line, since you're going to be probably taking a block to the face. And then we get the blocking player out there. Let's put our 3 strength player over there. And we'll protect our passing player a little bit. And then these guys have +1 movement, so we're just going to be able to move them around where we need them. And maybe in case they end up getting a good block, we'll have him in the middle to go ahead and follow up on a block here. So we're going to try and protect our block players a bit more now to try and avoid injuries against them. I'm not really concerned about them using the sideline here. They haven't really thrown the ball in this game, so I'm not really concerned about it. Ulan suffers an injury, and it's a stun. But it's one of their guard players, and so as such, our blocks here in the middle might have a bit of an easier time now. Let's see, you're close to leveling up, so I want to get maybe you leveled up here with a block and an injury. Alright, so they happen to get the block that they need, but, you know, as long as he's not injured, I'm just going to have to go ahead and grin and bear with it and be like, yeah, it could have been worse, so. That's what having players with, you know, Mighty Blow, Block, and Tackle on the works can do for you, so, oh, it's against the Kroxigor, so we don't want both down here. Yeah, getting stand firm on the Kroxigor might be a good idea if I level him up again and I get just a plain strength skill. That's a pretty good skill to have on someone who's so strong and hard to move around. Alright, so he doesn't have guard. That guy doesn't have guard either, so we could potentially get a 3-die blitz, or a 3-die block at least. Which direction do we want to go to try and get some assist action going in? Probably the left side. It depends if we can go ahead and free up one of these players. If we can make a block right here, and then maybe free up him or the Kroxigor, then maybe we can do that. Alright, that's very good. Alright, so KO doesn't mean too much at this point, but at the very least we have a less chance of worrying about you know, their players being able to injure us, so in some ways still very good. So, and then with the 3-die block here, I'm going to go and try and go for it. So let's see if we can get an injury here. Don't get it, but that's okay. So let's follow that up and keep their players occupied. And now's the point in time where we're just going to go ahead and get some of our skinks in here for assist action. This guy can potentially blitz, but, you know, I'm just going to have to deal with it if I have to deal with it, so I guess if I want to get someone else in there, I probably want to just do you. Get the 3 strength block here. And we get him on the ground, which is great. And might as well follow it up. Don't think it really changes anything, but... And then... let's go ahead and tie, I think, these 2 guys up and move our blitzer right there. And then let's go ahead and just kind of get an extra assist right here so they can't easily block or blitz any of our skinks in here. So they have some long beards over here, so they're not going to have any easy time moving all the way to this side of the field, and they're not going to be able to score. So, not really worried about them switching sides. I'm just more focused on injuring them. Alright, so they get Huntzor on the ground again. That's unfortunate, but he's not getting hurt, so that's the important thing. Alright, so they fail that one, and they somewhat fail at that time. So the reroll is gone. Hopefully any risky blocks they do now are not going to do anything. Alright, so guard player, stand you up. Let's see you. I guess you might have a 3-die blitz here in the works if we want it. I mean, we don't really need to attack the ball here. It would be nice to be able to get maybe another pass in or something like that if we really wanted it. Let's just do this. And if we get enough assists right in here, then we can get a 3-die blitz of our skink here. So let's just do this. And 3-die blitz of a skink, first time for everything. You know what, we might as well just re-roll this one. And didn't get punished for it, but let's go ahead and follow it up here so we can get another block right here, I think. Okay, so we might need to make one more block here before we end up doing that one. So let's do this one then. Pushing isn't going to be good enough here, so it's unfortunate. Might as well just follow it up. You know what, 3-die, I'm going to take it. And let's move him away and follow. So we might be able to make a block with him as well, so let's just get this guard player away, if possible. And we're going to stay there and just let the guard player hang out over there on his own. And then you're going to move you right here. And then we're going to have, well, I guess it's only a 2-die, but we're going to take it. And we're going to stay there. So our passing player is a bit vulnerable right now, but most of their players are tied up and aren't going to be able to do a whole lot about that. And if they score here, it's of no consequence. They don't really have anyone in scoring position, so it's not really a concern for me. They managed to get the blitz. 1-die blitz. It worked somehow. Another 1-die block that somehow works. I guess this guy doesn't have tackle though, so that's okay. Right here will actually protect you a bit more because we have assisting right here. So these dwarves have been throwing their weight around much more than other teams have. Most of them have block and tackle, so it's been a bit difficult to try and win the player game, but their mobility has been an Achilles heel this time, so... yeah, let's just go and put you over here, I guess. Could have put him down there to protect him more, but I think just having assists around here for the advantageous blocks is probably in the best. That's a 1-die right now. Let's go ahead and stand up you. So even if they go for it, they can't even score. So in one turn, they're not going to be able to do anything. So I'm just going to ignore them since they only have 1 turn left. What can we do with you? Not a whole hell of a lot. So let's see. We can do a 3-die blitz with you somewhere. So we'll do the 3-die block with him first. Yeah, let's just re-roll this one. He has block. Not too worried. And we'll just move him right there, I guess. And we shall follow that one. And now we can move you around. And then we can maybe move you over here. Well, I might need to be in a spot actually to where he can more easily occupy one of these guys. Yeah, you. So that way they can't just try and blitz one of my skinks with one of these guys over here. So we have him on one-on-one matchups. This is going to be more of a 2-die against in some cases, so... And then you, that's just a 2-die, but if we do this, then it should be a 3-die. Let's get it. Let's go ahead and just stay here. And he didn't get it, but a knockdown is always a nice thing. So, and then you can get an assist over here, and then we can go ahead and blitz in with you and get a 3-die on this little long beard over here. And we get him. Maybe next to the Kroxigor is best, since Kroxigor has guards, so it's going to make any blocks difficult. And let's go ahead and get you assisting the Kroxigor. Now you have a 3-die. Let's go ahead and do this one. Alright, so that kind of sucks, but, you know, it happens. It's one of the least worrisome spots for that to happen. So, and we get the block here. This time we're just going to stay and not allow them to get a free block next turn. So, and I think that should about do it. They'll have maybe a couple block attempts up here and then one blitz somewhere, and that's about it. So, I think the best that they can do is maybe a 2-die blitz somewhere, but most of their dwarves are occupied and aren't going to be able to like dodge out or anything, so maybe they stand him up and then they can maybe get a block against him for 1 die. Alright, well thankfully they didn't get an injury on the Skink because my Saurus being boneheaded allowed them to easily get in there, so. I'm a bit surprised that they're going for these. I mean, they are dwarves. If they have a attacker down, then they're not likely to go ahead and get punished for it, but. Alright, KO. That's fine. Totally fine. And the match is over, so we were somehow able to get out of that mess with not getting banged up too badly. We ended up losing a player. Carnage of Dawn, we hardly knew ye, but we will forever remember thee. So I'm glad that you could go ahead and at least carve your place in history on this legendary team, the Sea of Red, and again, living on in our hearts. Just, you know, it's part of the Blood Bowl thing, and so it does happen to some players. It's one of those, you sign up for it, you know what you're getting into, you know, you have to live with it and kind of learn from it, so. Fan factor hasn't gone up in a while, but alright, so our 3-strength Skink got the MVP, and he did do pretty well that game, so Mazda of Itza did have a pretty good game. So I would actually kind of agree with that. He was a pretty critical role in terms of blitzing and getting to their key pieces. So, I wonder if we have I want to see how Mazda of Itza did that match. Alright, so it goes straight to him. He ended up catching it once, and then he ended up getting 1 armor break. So he was able to do pretty well in that game, so I'm pretty happy about him getting MVP, and he's also one of our better players, so I'm quite alright with that. So their ball possession, they were in their own side of the field a lot of the time, except for some of their blockers. Their runners did not really do all that well getting the ball off the field. And on our defense, as always, we were pretty successful. Offense, less so, but we did pretty well stalling things out so that way we could get some more blocks in on them and try and get injuries. So, and we were able to get some injuries here, as you can see. We had, who was it? I forget who it is that has the, who has the throwing skill. I think it might be Munditeek here, or Munditeek, or Chaqkoet or something. I think it was Chaqkoet throwing the passes and everything. So then Axel of the Lake and Munditeek, I think, got the scores. Rox of Gold got an injury. Mazda of Itza was around, knocking around the doors pretty well, making a good name for himself. So Chaqkoet throwing passes got in a good amount of star player points there, so I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, I mean, having a player with a passing skill, I mean, it's probably not as good as just having sure hands for the pickup attempts. But on the other hand, the passing rolls are going to be more difficult. So if you want a built-in reroll for something, you might want to have it for the more difficult play to pull off. So because we have enough team rerolls that we can use it for the pickup attempts if we need it. So I don't know, maybe choosing the pass skill was maybe better than I thought it would be in retrospect, because getting sure hands probably would have been better overall, but the passing skill can probably be just fine because it's more difficult to pull it off, so you need the built-in reroll for it more. And so our team has won the Blood Bowl qualifiers, and now we can go ahead and party on with whatever it is that lizards do for partying and getting their old victory dance going, and whatever it is that they like to drink for their preferred drink. I don't know if they drink alcohol or maybe some kind of weird form of stuff from the swamp or wherever they come from. So, but either way, they're going to be celebrating, having fun with the cheerleaders, and having a jolly good time, talking in their old, I don't know what language they speak in Warhammer Fantasy, but, you know, they can have a jolly good time, well-earned victory, and a well-earned tournament invite, I'm imagining. So, alright, so now that we won the Blood Bowl qualifiers, then we have to go to the final, at least I think it would be the final part of the season here. We won spring and now we're in the summer, so we have to find... Okay, so you must be among the first 16 of the Blood Bowl qualifiers. Alright, so I forgot that part. It probably said that for the admission when I first looked at it, probably like 8 or 9 episodes ago, and I just didn't remember it. Because the last episode I was kind of wondering how well that you have to place in the qualifiers to be able to get into the actual main event tournament. So you just have to place in the top 16, so even if we lost our last match, we would have been easily in the top 16. But I think winning the qualifiers is a pretty good thing for morale anyway, so... So what's this tournament like here? Impact of enhancement, kickoff events. Okay. And then competition settings. Is there anything here? Invitation only, yada yada. And I'm assuming that for the championship it's going to be like a best of 3 like it was for one of our other tournaments, where I was kind of wondering like, hey, you know, like, we won the match, didn't win the whole thing? But no, it's best 2 out of 3, I think, probably. It doesn't give a clear indication that the championship would be best 2 out of 3. The game doesn't really explain that portion of it. But I would assume that the championship match of the final 2 teams would be like a best of 3 match. So yeah, there are certainly some other tournaments around here. Most of them have already been played because we've already gone through 3 parts of the season already. So there's the NAF Summer Championship, there's the Brutal Cup, the Greenskins. I don't know if this is like a Lizardman themed sort of tournament. It sounds like it might be that kind of thing. Not sure what that format means because it doesn't give me any information on it, but... And then there's the Blood Bowl main event, the historic tournament and the most prestigious of the old world. All teams dream of winning it and gaining eternal renown, plus a huge amount of money and gold in their pockets. So let's use our ticket that we got from the Blood Bowl qualifiers, and let's go ahead and enter this tournament for next time. And hopefully this Blood Bowl tournament is going to go well for us. Our team value is, I guess, a bit less inflated now that we lost the player, and we might get rid of another player. Nurgle teams are, from my understanding, a very bash-heavy team here. They tend to go for a very sort of straightforward approach, and they tend to try and just bash you in. It looks like they're only going with 10 players though, and they don't have a whole lot of level ups here, so I'm kind of wondering how it is that they're going to match up against us if they can't really do anything particularly well. So they have only 2 rerolls, they have only 10 players. They don't really have any skills. They have one player with block, and then another player with a mutation foul appearance. So yeah, this team probably not going to go very well. They have a good blitzer here with horns and the claws, so horns and claws player makes them a pretty good blitzer. They have one block player who can be pretty reasonable against our Lizardmen. And then this Beast of Nurgle is going to have lots of debilitating effects to make it more difficult to pass the ball. But we're mobile enough to where we can just run around them with our Skinks and kind of avoid them, I'm hoping. And then if we need to pass the ball, hopefully it's going to be far away from their bashing players. And our Kroxigor can handle this guy by himself, so we don't have to worry too much about the Beast of Nurgle because we have a big guy that can handle him. Alright, so we have one, I think, level up here with Chaqkoet. Let's see what he does for his level up, and if he doesn't get a good level up, then I might need to go ahead and, you know, give him the boots. If not him, then maybe Swatter can get booted because they're hogging the team value a bit too, so we might have to boot one of our Skinks here depending what happens. So let's see what happens with Chaqkoet. Okay. I think that +1 movement is pretty reasonable here, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. Yeah, so there's not really any reason to go for any of those skills, and getting +1 movement is just universally good on a Skink. Just get them to move even further each time, and you know, they can help provide assists from across the field. They can do all kinds of things, so +1 movement allows him to kind of stay on the team here. So, and then maybe we can turn him into another catcher, I don't know. If we get any blocking skills with a double, then we might get him block or something like that. If we get him blocked, then having block and dodge can make him a pretty good ball carrier, so something to consider and keep in mind. Okay, so Chaqkoet with his level up has gotten himself a nice spot on the team here. It does mean, however, though, that Swatter with his team value, we might need to just get rid of him because now we have a guy that has... We have 3 players with +1 movement, so sure feet's not quite as helpful now. He is close to leveling up, and I do want him to level up, but we might need to get rid of him so our team value is not bloated up as much as it is, so... So yeah, if we get rid of him, that means we'd have 5 Skinks, we'd have 1 reserve player. Injuries could be more of an issue if we get rid of Swatter. It's a tough call, just because I like having reserve players and then having certain players in on offense and then some players in on defense. You know what, I think I'm just going to have to make a tough decision and just go ahead and get rid of Swatter. Yeah, I know. I understand. And we are going up against the Nurgle team, so I totally get that. But he's at a good spot on the team, you know, and we... Again, we have to make tough decisions here. I don't know. It's a tough call. I'll give him one more chance. We can try and level him up next match. I'm really tempted to go ahead and fire them. I mean, I like Swatter and all, and it's a cool name. So let's go ahead and move some players around here to make our roster look a bit more clean. So yeah, I keep giving Swatter these chances. He got knocked out last match and then he didn't get back in the game, so it was unfortunate. I just want to try and level him up here so that way if he does get a good level up, then, you know, all more power to him. But yeah, we have some good level ups on all these players. All the other Skinks have good level ups and he doesn't, so... You know what, it is kind of inflating the team value though. It's probably better just to get a lower level Skink and try and level them up. So let's just go ahead and do this. I thought about it and I changed my mind. So let's just go ahead and do this. We have some very good Skinks on our team here, so... Well, not the way that I want to do that, so let's just go ahead and do this again, and then... So yeah, I thank everyone for watching. I'm just doing the final arranging of players here. I hope that everyone enjoyed that. It was more of a bash heavy match, even with our Skink. Our Skink were getting in on the action too. But outmaneuvering the Dwarves is not really a difficult task. I mean, it's not easy to win against them, but it's certainly not as much of an issue to try and run circles around them, so... I don't know, do we want to get another Skink? We might as well, because the team value is at a certain spot here, so... You know what, maybe I'll just do this. Get another Skink, and I hope that everyone enjoyed their time watching this episode. And I hope that everyone, again, is doing very well where they're at, and having a jolly good time and wherever they are and whatever they're doing. So we'll go and buy another Skink here, and let's see what kind of things that we can get with them. That looks nice and good. Couple of giving us the lazy eyes here, and we'll go with head 8 and randomize the name here. So for this, we're going to do Lizardman. Do a little bit of a Lizardman, and so, yep, and then we're going to go back to, what is it, head 8, there we are. So yeah, we're going to have a Lizardman join the team here, and hopefully he's going to go ahead and do a little bit of dancing in the end zone with a touchdown maybe, or maybe he's going to go ahead and just kind of, you know, provide some space on defense so we don't have to have our passing player in there. But welcome to the team, and confirm the purchase of the Skink player. And so we have Lizardman. And so, again, this less team value, we use our money, so that way, you know, it was already contributing to the team value with 20k or so. So we get a new player, maybe we can go ahead and level them up and get a positive level up on their first try. So, hey, it's always possible. And so this will be the final signing off here. So I appreciate everyone for watching through this lengthy episode, and I hope that for all of you, the Blood Bowl qualifiers were fun, and hopefully we'll have even more fun next time when we go ahead and continue on in the Blood Bowl qualifiers. So, appreciate everyone watching and tuning in. Hope to join you all with me next time, and have a wonderful day, and as always, take care.